President Donald Trump.
Hey Trump, we opened the Hormuz Strait.
Bibi, they opened the Hormuz Strait. Has been Hormuz Strait.
Hey Trump, I'm kidding. April Fools.
What? April Fools? Bibi, he is kidding. April Fools. Get any.
Welcome chat, welcome people. This is the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your host Lefty. How do you all brew this evening? Thanks for joining us. Another Wet Your Whistle Wednesday is upon us. No PMQs though. Unfortunately, they are on recess. We do have a bit of an alternative instead. More about that to come. In the meantime, please make sure you hit thumbs up as you join us on stream. That would be incredible. A very good evening, Davinia, who was first in chat. Doc Davies as well. Yeah, a bit of astronomy already in the chat. Graham Turner's also with us. Very good evening to everybody if you're just joining us. Davinia, there were actually 3 Austin Powers films. There's not been a 4th one yet. Goldmember was the 3rd one. Yeah. Good films, good movies. Solidari-Tea, one and all though. Yeah, it'd be good to see a 4th one. I guess he was just a bit busy. I guess they were throwing too many zeros at him to do more Shrek sequels or whatnot. Who knows? Oh yes, definitely 3. The first one was called International Man of Mystery, the second one was The Spy Who Shagged Me, and the third one was Goldmember, I believe. They all came out within a pretty short time of each other, I think. All in the mid to late 90s. But I've never heard of them. We also have a poll. We do have a poll. Let's see. They've gone and changed the layout a little bit on YouTube Studio. Okay, that's right. It's just for me here. It appears at the bottom if you want to open it instead of at the top where it used to be. So, this is the question. Which of these events will happen first? Will the Artemis moon mission return safely? Will the Artemis unfortunately meet with disaster? Will Iran surrender to the United States? Sorry, I can't even say it. Will Iran surrender to the United States? Or will the United States withdraw from Iran? There've only been a few votes so far. Keep my left eye on that one as we get through the stream. Pretty interesting as well. I'm not too certain myself. Well, there's a slim chance that it could be resolved before the end of the stream. Yeah, later on we're going to try and check out some of that Artemis launch live as it happens. Tense times. That will be sometime, well, in an hour or so, I think. Other things to get through before that, though. Not certain when Trump's going to make this speech. He said he's going to make a speech tonight. I don't know if they've confirmed the time yet. They hadn't earlier. But that might be quite abrupt. And that is to say, whenever it is scheduled for doesn't necessarily mean that's when it'll begin. So we'll have to keep a lookout for that as well. But one thing that has already happened, and we are going to go through or analyse, Keir Starmer's speech earlier. Apparently he spoke about Iran, about rising costs in the UK, a few other things. It's first time watch for me though, all the way through. I've only seen the first few seconds. Just putting it into the broadcast software. But apart from that, yeah, first time watch. So we'll do a Keith's catchphrase minigame in absence of a PMQs this week. So just to try and make it a bit more interesting as well. Plus the latest on the Middle East as well. There is supposedly going to be a stepping up. That is to say, Iran are going to be testing out some new weapons that they haven't previously done this evening, it's alleged. Tel Aviv continues to take a battering nonetheless. We'll go through all of that. There was also the guilty verdict, or guilty verdicts, plural, in the PSC union trial. This goes back to January, not this year, but January of 2025, if you remember. There were some arrests in Trafalgar Square. Jeremy Corbyn was even questioned by police at the time. And PSC members Ben Jamal and Chris Nineham were arrested and charged. The trial has been ongoing, and today a guilty verdict was actually the result, so we'll be analysing that. It's another affront to justice here in the UK, of course, where the right to protest is concerned. So yeah. It doesn't seem that long ago either, but apparently yes, that was in January 2025. Long-term viewers might remember us reporting it on it at the time. We weren't at that demo in particular, but we did mention it on streams and other stuff. Right, people. The time has come. Oh, thanks and plugs. First of all, thank you very much again to the 226 members we have now. Just 24 away from the target to 250. There you go. Yes, the beautiful people you can see on your screen do a great job in helping to support the channel. And you can too, in a variety of ways. First of all, you might want to consider a membership for yourself for just 99 pence, or you might want to gift a membership to other people. That's a really great way of helping to build the community as well. The community. Lots of perks to enjoy, so hit the join button if you want to find out more about that. There's also super chats, super stickers if you're watching live. Super thanks if you're not with us live but you're watching back later. And there's a buy me a coffee page in the description of any content on the channel, so please do check that out. You can also give us a share on your social media. Give us a follow whilst you're there as well at Lefty UK. And if you are checking out some content for the first time, if you're watching on mobile or tablet, please hit thumbs up, and depending on which region you're in, you might get the option to give some hype points to the video, and that really helps us out on the algorithm as well. So there are options galore, and it just takes a few clicks to help support the channel, so please do consider all those options. Thanks again to all of the members. We've got a fantastic audience on the channel, and we do appreciate all the support we get.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We can dig it indeed. Yeah, Divinia, gold member, the third one. Beyonce, Knowles was in it. Beyonce, whichever you prefer, was in it. They travel through time. They go to the 70s to stop gold member, who's obsessed with gold. He's the antagonist there, also played by Mike Myers, of course. It's the one with Michael Caine in it as well. I think that's the only one that Michael Caine's in. Right. Just to continue. That one. Graham, yes, it would be good if we could rerun the last 50 years politically. Definitely. Well, that was a complete cock-up, wasn't it? Let's go again. I believe I've taken care of all of the procedural thanks and plugs. Except just to remind you to vote in the poll if you just join us on stream as well. Which of those 4 events do you think will happen first? One or two of them are a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Obviously hoping that nothing happens to the Artemis mission. Whilst I might question its use, given the cost and the current, you know, global political situation as well as the climate crisis, do actually wish them well. It's not as though I'm not into science or anything, of course, not just social science. Of course, if something does happen now, the internet's going to blame me or the channel. Woke YouTuber tempts fate with shocking poll on Livestream. You can see the headlines now. We'll be saying hello to Keith in just a moment once we get into that speech.
Hello.
So no comedy clip first. There's not been anything new, well, on my radar. Obviously, we had the opening little April Fool's thing with Iran. But a lengthier comedy video is going to be absent. I've also got a pretty foreboding poll as well for Starmer later. It's not a national general election poll. It pertains to something that is just a few weeks away. That's right, the local elections. There's also the Senate coming up. And this is an absolute corker. This, it's a projection actually, it's not a poll, if you'll excuse my error. But it really doesn't look good for Starmer, which is good news for socialists, generally. Graham, so this Artemis mission, yeah, it's going to be the furthest that astronauts have ever been from planet Earth, apparently, as it circumnavigates the moon. It'll be going around the dark side of the moon. They won't be landing on the moon, but it is the first sort of moon-based mission for 50 years. But it will apparently be historic, because it will be the furthest that any human being has been from the Earth in a machine. Of course, the furthest away man-made object is Voyager 1, which is on its way out of our solar system as we speak, and into the void, into the deep space, eventually. But luckily for Voyager 1, it's as close away from, it's as far away from Donald Trump as anybody's ever got, so there you go. More on the moon stuff. The moon stuff. If you'll excuse my, technical mumbo-jumbo. Command center's like, is the rocket stuff ready? Yes, the rocket stuff's ready. Okay, go. Press go. Go is pressed. Launch equals start equals true. No. Not using the lingo. The lunar mission. Okay, first off, we'll go through Starmer's speech. I've prepared a mini Keith's Catchphrases game just to try and help us get through it. Like I said, we're going to be counting how many times security comes up. You can see security, current champion, having confirmed that with a victory last week. Cannot be caught in the race for the top spot now, so congratulations, of course, to Security, the first ever winner of the Keith's Catchphrases League. I'm featuring here now in this minigame, which won't contribute towards the league itself. We're just going to count how many times he says security. Because apparently he's going to be talking about Iran and stuff quite a bit. It's got a decent chance. So keep your ears out, people. You'll hear this noise anytime it's mentioned. Okay, just had to boost the volume a bit. The audio's very roomy, if you know what I mean. Unfortunately. I've just tweaked with it, but I hope it comes through okay. Hope it comes through to you. Okay.
The conflict in the Middle East has now entered a second month, and while we're working at pace for de-escalation and peace, it is now clear that the impact of this war will affect the future of our country. So
it's clear now. It wasn't clear before we said that America can use our bases, before we started to send equipment and British troops. Okay, just so I've got that. Okay. Just for clarity. Thanks for clearing that up, Keith. Wanker.
Today I want to reassure the British people that no matter how fierce this storm, we are well placed to weather it, and that we have a long-term plan to emerge from it.
Here's a short-term plan. Just stay the fuck out of it. In total. Sending more troops, as we have done in the last few days, doesn't reek of de-escalation like we said on yesterday's stream. So now it's a long-term plan. Okay. We're in this for the long haul. Now, look what you've gotten us into, Rodney.
A stronger and more secure nation. First, let me say...
I'm counting secure as a variable.
Once again, this is not our war. We will not be drawn into the conflict. That is not in our national interest. And the most effective way we can support the cost of living in Britain is to push for de-escalation in the Middle East and a reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, which is such a vital route for energy. To that end, we're exploring each and every diplomatic avenue that is available to us. The Foreign Secretary...
He describes ridiculous private profit and the destruction of our planet and the environment as energy, the route for energy. No, we know the real reasons why you want the oil, why you want to stick with fossil fuels. You could simply look into the camera and say, it's okay everybody, because get this. We've actually got 10 years worth of reserves. Don't know if you remember Just Stop Oil harping on about it for quite some time, for a few years. And whilst we could use these 10 years reserves, we can transition more to renewables to heat people's homes. Heat and light people's homes, which would have a massive impact on reducing our CO2 emissions. But no, we need to get in all this back and forth about should we drill more in the North Sea now. That's all ridiculous as well. Kemi Badenoch's ludicrous even for suggesting it. I think Ed Miliband today added further clarity that that wouldn't lower bills, which was actually slightly refreshing to see. I still don't think that Ed Miliband does nearly enough as Secretary of State for Energy, but this is it. This is the situation that we're left with. A Prime Minister who won't stand up to the massive companies that lobby him, the same way as he won't stand up to the genocidal lobbies either.
The Secretary and the Chancellor have met their counterparts in the G7. The Defence Secretary has been in the Middle East speaking to our partners, and the UK has now brought together 35 nations around our statement of intent to push as one for maritime security across the Gulf. And today I can announce that later this week, the Foreign Secretary will host a meeting that brings those nations together for the first time, where we will assess all viable diplomatic and political measures that we can take to restore freedom of navigation.
Just 2, not 22.
Guarantee the safety of trapped ships and seafarers, and resume the movement of vital commodities. Following that meeting, we will also convene our military planners to look at how we can marshal our capabilities and make the Strait accessible and safe after the fighting has stopped.
Yeah, Odin, platitudes will save us, of course. The repeating of boardroom slogans and things that they think sound good and are either the wrong idea, completely unsubstantial and hollow statements, or are just completely illogical and ridiculous even to suggest them, not a great choice to have. Don't look up. Yeah, that's another situation that we're in, not just with the climate crisis, of course, with so many things. Whatever it is, and capitalism as well, of course, whatever it is that they're trying to stop people looking up at, they're trying to keep people focused on fossil fuels, which is unsustainable, even from a capitalist economic standpoint, with it being a finite resource, of course. Pearls before oil. Yeah, I do like that gesture there. But great film. Don't Look Up as well. Adam Mackay. I've had the pleasure of being on a Zoom with him.
Because I do have to level with people on this. This will not be easy. I spoke with relevant business leaders in shipping, finance, insurance and energy supply in Downing Street on Monday. And they were clear with me the primary challenge they face is not one of insurance, but one of safety and security of passage.
And 3.
So the fact is, we need all of this together.
It's off to a strong start.
A united front of military strength and diplomatic activity, partnership with industry, so they too could mobilise once the fighting has stopped. And above all, clear and calm leadership. That is what this country is ready to provide.
But the thing is, Keith, even if you could provide that, which I also doubt that you can, we are aiding and abetting an absolute maniac, a psychopath. Some severely question his mental health, his cognitive ability, not just his staunchest, Jesus Christ, his staunchest critics either. Now that I can get my words out. Really shouldn't eat marshmallows while I'm doing the stream. Maybe that's it. But no, a lot of people who used to rush to Donald Trump's defence are now saying that they think he is showing signs of dementia, serious signs of multiple mental health problems or mental illnesses. This is who you want to rally around. This isn't the calm and collected mindset that you think is going to guide it through. Because at the end of the day, if you're in this, which we are, then it's Trump at the wheel, unfortunately. There's no two ways about it.
Because my guide from the start of this conflict has always been the British national interest. And freedom of navigation in the Middle East is in the British national interest.
Okay. We should be able to go anywhere that we like in the Middle East and do what we want because we are interested in your oil. Don't forget, people, of course, when you hear the word national interests, British interests, American interests, it means oil. That's all it means. Oil or territory. Generally both. But resources equals interests. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Let me turn now to the impact at home. Because I know that this is causing huge concern. People turn on their television, they look at their screens, they say explosions, infrastructure blown up, aggressive
We see a muppet like you being completely unconvincing, but go on.
rhetoric. They worry that the UK will be dragged into this.
Because we already are. Oh, God. God. You know, sometimes you feel like, figuratively, of course, banging your head against a wall. Honestly. They should put up the headlines in the background when he says this thing. Extra such and such number troops sent, extra equipment, aircraft carriers, planes. I don't know. I don't know how convincing he thinks he is. I don't know how convincing the people who come up with this absolute tripe. It really is the worst poppycock you'll ever be unfortunate enough to come across. But it is just so unconvincing and so obviously unconvincing. You don't have to be, you know, particularly politically astute even to know that whilst Keir Starmer's saying that we're not involved, that we are. It's no tin hat theory, again, from the backwaters of the dark web or anything like that. It's real, and it's obviously real. What Keith is saying clearly contradicts the truth. And you're going to get leathered, absolutely leathered, in a few weeks' time, in May, in the locals, Keith, and you deserve it. You really do.
I also know that people have a deep sense that this will affect their family and their household. They can see it at the petrol pumps, and they worry about their energy bills. It is the job of government to meet these moments.
And cut some of the fucking duty off of it, because almost half of it is duty. It is simple. Rachel Reeves could do that instantly as an emergency measure against this situation that you've gotten us into. Keith, you've helped. America wouldn't have been able to do what they have done if it wasn't for us. Everybody else has given him the finger. France, Spain, even Italy. And they're led by a literal fascist. Some are even going further. Greece now will not allow Israeli tourists, for example, into the country, any Israeli nationals whatsoever. Spain, one of the biggest footballing nations in history, is threatening to withdraw from the World Cup, the biggest competition on the planet, if Israel are allowed to compete. This is Spain, who won multiple World Cups. They won the Euros forever. Very historic side. No offence to smaller nations or whatever, but we're not talking about the Maldives or whatever threatening to withdraw. And Keith's on the wrong side of history. He's standing there on the wrong side of history when all of those countries managed to have the gumption, managed to have the bollocks to just make a simple gesture and say, no, what you're asking is beyond the pale. What you're doing is illegal. We don't want to be involved with it. Good day to you, Orange One. You know, it's as easy as that, as to not cave into the pressure. But not this guy. He can't handle pressure.
Not just with immediate action, but also with clarity about our direction. That's what I remember about the 1970s, when my family could not pay every bill. We struggled through the energy shocks.
Oh, you're going to do the
price rises of that decade.
He's going to do the He's going to paint the picture that they used to all sit around the kitchen table staring at Bill, even as a child. Apparently, he was able to understand the concepts of kilowatts per hour, this sort of thing, and that was what they discussed. That's certainly how you end up with an accent like that. That is certainly how you end up as Director of Public Prosecutions and then go on to become Prime Minister, coming from an ordinary working class family. Dad was a toolmaker. Mum was a nurse. And then when you got home from law school, you'd sit and stare at the... Well, I'll tell you, your utility bills in the 1970s, even though that's before my time, they wouldn't have been anywhere near as bad as they are now. Nowhere near as bad. And he can't deny it, you know, but this ridiculous attempt to try and sympathise and say that he's been there himself is something that I wholeheartedly reject entirely, because it's bollocks. Keir Starmer has never been impoverished in his entire life.
But we always believed in the end that Britain would secure a better future for us. And I think that's what's been lacking in the crises of recent years. And I'm not prepared to ask the British people once again to go through a crisis, come out of it, and say, business as usual, back to the status quo.
You are the status quo,
so
you fucking
on our
muppets.
Economy, on our energy, and on our defence, this time will be different.
Did he say security? Sorry. So enraged, I wasn't listening for a second or two.
This time will be different. We will make Britain a fairer and more secure country, because that hope is what is needed.
That's the one I counted.
As the country comes together. And because how we emerge from this crisis will define us for a generation. So, as I set out a few weeks ago, we have a 5-point plan for the immediate crisis.
What happened to the 5 steps, 6 steps? What happened to all the reboots, all of the things that you said? Is this the new one now? These stages that never come and never happen, and phases that dissolve into the ether. Okay, what's this one?
We're cutting energy bills by over £100 per household today.
Today? Today? Right, that one down. 117, I think he said it was. He's been saying in PMQs. That's not going to happen. And when you get your next quarterlies, people, I want you to compare that to the last one. And let's see. Let's see if it's for real or not.
We've extended the cut in fuel duty until September, and we're monitoring that situation daily.
So he's at least acknowledged that you can cut fuel duty. What, until September? By how much?
We're supporting people exposed to...
Oh, he's moved on to the next one now, so we're not going to... Okay. That again sounds spurious. Not saying how much duty is going to be reduced and when that will come into effect leads me to believe that he's not being entirely honest on that one either. So that's 2 for 2 so far.
Heating oil rises, setting aside £53 million for that. We're taking back control of our energy security.
Just hear that one again. 53 million. Okay, that's about 80 pence per UK citizen. Let's see.
We're supporting people exposed to heating oil rises, setting aside £53 million for that.
Oh, people who use heating oil. Right. 53 million pounds, the population of the UK. Yeah. Going on 70. So it's not going to stretch, is it? I'm not saying that literally everybody, like, you know, infants use heating oil. But it's probably not going to touch the sides. 53 million.
We're taking back control of our energy security by investing in clean British energy.
That's
Because
5.
that is the only way we get your bills off the roller coaster that is controlled by Putin and the Iranian regime. And
No, I
frankly,
didn't.
I'm sick and tired of your energy bills fluctuating up and down because we're on the international market. When if we took control...
Well, you've done your free market capitalism. I'm sorry, but this is how it's fucking turned out. Look. Look. Yeah, if you want energy security, look at modern renewable technology. But this is where your free market capitalist system has led us, Keith. Don't bullshit us about Putin. Don't let me, you know, have to go on about only getting 4% of our natural gas from Russia yet again. And again, how stupid do you think the British public are? That it just flows straight through. We don't keep any in reserve to be able to use. It's on a day-by-day basis. We have the exact amount of oil that we need, and then at the end of the day, that's gone. And there's no more. And if something happens at the source, then everybody's going to have to pay. No, that isn't how it works. It's like the credit card debts analogy in comparison to national debt that they pull out. They get the sock puppets out and condescend to the audience. Oh, this is the way that this works. So, oh no, the Strait of Hormuz is shut. So we're going to have to put up fuel by 50p a litre, and your electricity and gas bills are going to go up as well with it. Oh no, isn't it a shame?
All of our energy and had homegrown renewables, we could stabilise your bills.
Fuck, he actually... God, he actually said it. Rick, he mentioned renewables.
I find that rather difficult to believe.
And finally, as I say, we'll continue to push for de-escalation.
But again, he moved on quickly. No definition about targets as well. Just want to point that out. It's what he isn't saying as well that is just as telling us what he's presenting to us.
In the Middle East. But look, there's also a bigger argument here. Because every one of these measures is part of a long-term plan to make our country...
By the way, he got 6.5 minutes into this speech before he mentioned renewables being cheaper.
more secure and more resilient to shocks like this.
And that's another.
I mean, just look at what's happening today. Today, your energy bills will be cut because of the action that we took at the budget. And whatever happens in Iran, that price is now fixed until July. Today, if you need a prescription, instead of rising as they used to, the price will be frozen for a year. Today, if you're working on the national living wage, your wage...
Oh, he's doing the freezing things while they're a rip-off bit again. Oh, great.
Wages will go up. Next week...
A rise in wages. What is this, national minimum wage increase? A younger employees going to be able to earn the same as older people who do the same job?
On Monday, the state pension will go up. Next week, the two-child limit will be scrapped, lifting 450,000 children out of poverty.
The ones that you put into poverty by implementing them in the first place?
The vast majority from working households. And next week, the biggest strengthening of workers' rights in a generation will become law, a huge boost to the economic security of working people.
The unions are going to abandon you and go over to Zach Polonsky's Green Party. There were very successful talks held just days ago. You hate workers, you hate unions. It's plain and simple. You've criticised doctors and nurses for wanting a fair pay rise several times in the past.
Now, some people may say this isn't new, this was already planned. To which I say, yes, that is my point. Everything I've done in politics, certainly since the Ukraine war in 2022, is a response to this new and dangerous world. We campaigned for a windfall tax on oil and gas companies.
It's on the other side of the world, and yes, we do trade internationally, of course. But stop going on about Ukraine, for God's sake. In relation, excuse me, in relation to energy, that is, it just doesn't wash.
Which we extended. We focused on the cost of living, and we acted at the budget. And we've always emphasised the need for clean British energy. And we've invested because we knew that making our country secure in this world was the ultimate test that we would face, and our ultimate responsibility to the British people. Now, it's not going to be easy, clearly. And in the coming weeks, as you would expect, we will continue to assess the economic effects. We will continue to stand up for the British national interest.
A good point in the chat, Graham, yeah. If Corbyn had won in 2017, we'd likely have had almost 10 years of a Corbyn government by now, and of course the Green revolution would have started a lot sooner, probably with a lot more bolder ambitions than Keir Starmer and Ed Miliband have as well. But again, I do recall after the result in 2019, just a couple of years later, after, the initial disappointment, doing some serious contemplation and figuring out that realistically the next chance for any kind of socialist government whatsoever, even the mildest of mildly democratic socialist governments, that would be at least a decade away. Something that was pretty terrifying. And here we are, and we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot in those years.
And we continue to do what we must to guide our country calmly through this storm. However, it is increasingly clear that as the world continues down this volatile path, our long-term national interest requires closer partnership with our allies in Europe and with the European Union. Now we have made progress on this.
Oh dear, wait till Colin from Portsmouth hears this one. So, again, Keir Starmer flirting with the idea of stronger ties with Europe, but not joining the, customs market. The single market and customs union. Well, let's see.
On agriculture, electricity, emissions trading, and more. But as the Chancellor has rightly pointed out, Brexit did deep damage to our economy. And the opportunity...
Oh, right, so you do have a position on it now. He's acknowledging that... Is he just trying to win back some Lib Dem voters? I don't know, he might have gone over to the Greens. with this one now? Would he toy with the idea of a referendum, the thing that he used against Corbyn, of course, and then after refused to even talk about the European Union whatsoever. But now here we are, he's creeping his head above the parapet again.
It is to strengthen our security and cut the cost of living are simply too big to ignore. So, in the coming weeks...
So did you announce that if Labour won the election that there was going to be a second referendum? You did so without getting permission from Jeremy Corbyn, of course, first. But when you did that, was that because you genuinely believed in the European Union, or was it just used as a political tool to try and undermine your superior, the leader at the time, because you knew that would split large elements of the Labour vote, having done so well in 2017, and at that time saying that you would have stuck with the result of the referendum. So it's like he has a little switch as to whether he does or doesn't have an opinion on it, whenever it does suit him and his political career that he's carved out for himself, of course.
We will announce a new summit with our EU partners. And I can tell you that at that summit, the UK will not just ratify existing commitments made at last year's summit. We want to be more ambitious. Closer economic cooperation, closer security cooperation, a partnership that recognises our shared values, our shared interests, and our shared future.
Well, that is just generally a loose description of the union anyway, what the union members, and that's the important word, members, that is what they do. You're either in or you're out. There's no middle ground. We're not going to be able to reap all of the benefits that we had when we were members with these individual negotiations or whatever.
Partnership for the dangerous world that we must navigate together.
See the last part.
A world where this government will be guided at all times by the interests of the British people. Thank you.
Piss off, you fucking fuck. Sorry. I'm sure you get my frustration. Well, that was awful, wasn't it? 6 securities, at least we had something to somewhat entertain us whilst that was all going on. Six mentions for security. Doesn't affect the league, though. It was just for a coping mechanism, I guess. It's our comfort score as we trawl through another Starmer speech. It's never fun. Right. We're going to take a look at a specific area to see how Keith's doing in terms of public opinion. Haha. This one might cheer you up. It's the projection that I mentioned earlier. Labour, of course, previously, traditionally, doing very well in the major cities around England. But it seems that those days, as like many other days, are now done. They are behind us, and it's thanks to people like Keir Starmer. This is a projection for Birmingham City Council in the upcoming May elections. Set your sights on this, people. My goodness. Look at that. Labour down 54 council seats. Wow. Being left with just 11. If you can't make out the logos there, don't worry. So from left to right, we have a 31% increase for independents. That's all the combined independents. There'll be multiple areas of the political spectrum represented there, but also very impressively the Green Party gaining 20, having only previously had 2 seats in Birmingham City Council. Reform would be up 19 with their first appearance. Tories left with 10 and Lib Dem with 8, so no overall control for the council. But one thing is certainly clear: Labour have lost it. They have lost Birmingham. I'll remind you, they look set to lose at least 700 seats in London areas as well. Some people think around or more than 2,000 in total could go across the entire areas that are being polled. In just 4 and a bit weeks' time. But isn't that incredible? That is certainly historic. It's unprecedented.
If these trends continue,
I'm hoping that a lot of those independents are socialist. Let's hope so, because that could make for potentially a great voting coalition there in the council, with a total of 53. Yeah, incredible. Thanks to Stats for Lefties for sharing that one. The originals. Who is that? Oh, Bomb. Very familiar with that pollster, I have to be honest. New one on me. So that's from polling that took place last month, as we're now into the first day of April. What do you think about that, people? Oh, and happy April, by the way. We start having new month parties as well as New Year's parties, just, you know, lower key. Just a thought. It would be good for the economy. Okay. Give us something to party about first, I guess. Please. And then we can do some Glastonbury-style dancing, like Zach Polanski and Hannah Spencer were on stage at Trafalgar Square over the weekend. Good evening to Big Jerry, who's just jumped into the chat. I can see JK up there as well. Sorry if I've missed out anybody else who's joined recently. Please do fill out the poll if you just joined us on stream. 4 events listed there. Simply, which of the 4? It's so simple, even I can mess it up. Which of the 4 events do you think will happen first? That's right. I'm still not certain myself. We'll just stick with UK stuff for another moment, because there was the verdict today with 2 members of the PSC union on trial, unfortunately found guilty. Jumped up nonsense, of course. If anybody needs a reminder, here's a short clip of the original, air quotes, incident. Sorry, that was very loud. Just turn that down a fraction. What you're going to see here, it wasn't just the PSC, of course. This was a huge coalition march back in January 25. You can see here, just as the march comes to the end of Whitehall, where it meets Trafalgar Square. The leaders of the march, including Jeremy Corbyn, and you can see just about see Ben Jamal and Chris Nineham there in front of police officers who were stopping them from getting to Trafalgar Square to lay wreaths of flowers. That was, of course, in memory of those killed in Gaza. Then, and bearing in mind this has all been arranged beforehand, liaised with the police, etc. However, after being stopped and kettled in, I believe, for some amount of time, a senior police officer then waves the march through. And you might remember this story, like I said, from January of 25. And it speaks for itself, because essentially they've been arrested for doing what the police told them, and they've been charged with breaking the rules on a march ban. Essentially, it's complete gaslighting bollocks. And there they are saying you can come through. They make way, and people start to go through, get waved through, literally waved through. This isn't a crowd overwhelming the line, as you can clearly see. You heard it on the audio there. I'll turn that up a little bit. Not as loud as it was at the start. I believe it was a Scotch accent. Let people through. Let people through, please, he said. Very clear. And yet, in a further affront to justice, as I said today, they were found guilty. There were speeches outside of court. Jeremy Corbyn wasn't on trial. He was questioned by the police. He wasn't actually arrested on the day. But Chris and Ben were. We're going to hear from Ben Jamal and his verdict on the verdict, which I think is as sound as it gets.
Chris and I will not be silenced. You will not be silenced. This movement will not be silenced. We do not stop. We will see you all on the streets again on May the 16th. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Thank you. We know that decisions like today are designed to repress support for the Palestinian struggle for liberation and our campaign to end all UK complicity in Israel's ongoing genocide. It will not succeed. This cause remains more important than ever.
This is Westminster Magistrates Court, just to be clear as well, so I didn't say that before. And a really good turnout as well. You can see from where I've paused it there. Hordes of press, hordes of supporters, flags and banners in support of Chris, Ben and Palestine.
You all know that since the so-called ceasefire in October, Israel has slaughtered nearly 700 Palestinians in Gaza. Across the West Bank, it is proceeding with its effective annexation, displacing Palestinians and unleashing violent settlers to conduct pogroms across Palestinian villages. And yesterday, Israel became the world's first state to enact a law which mandates execution only for people of one ethnic background. Even apartheid South Africa did not have such a law, but still our government offers Israel diplomatic, economic, political and military support.
And it's absolutely revolting, isn't it? It is actually the first state since Nazi Germany to apply the death penalty for one specific ethnic group. Yes, that's what Israel have done. We'll go on to talk about that a bit more, excuse me, later on, because there was a demonstration about it yesterday in Downing Street itself. And now this is what Zionists have to defend. This is what anybody who would dare turn around... excuse me, dry throat this evening. Sorry about that. But, yeah, anybody who dared to turn around to you in a debate and ask you if you condemn Hamas, well, now, look at what they'd have to condemn. Of course, you'd have to ask them if they condemn the first death penalty implied to a specific ethnic group since fascist Germany in the 30s and 40s. That's what they've got to defend.
And instead of ending its complicity, it devotes its energy to bringing in even further laws to repress the right to protest. It will not work. We will not be silenced. Let me end with this. In his final remarks today, the judge said this about Chris and I. He said, "You are men of former good character, but this conviction today takes away your good character." Well, let me quote a Palestinian who for me laid down the fundamental moral judgment at the moment of how you judge anybody's character. Munzer Isaac, on Christmas Eve 2023, said this: "I want you all to look in the mirror and ask yourself this question: what did I do when Gaza was going through a genocide? History will judge which of us stood on the right side of history."
Well, it certainly will. Well said, Ben Jamal. And a completely awful, unjustified verdict from the court, in my opinion. But they are certainly not deterred, as you heard. There's going to be another march, they said, on May the 16th. We'll see if my left eye can get down there for that one. Just to point out as well, that wasn't original footage, by the way. I'm not sure about the original uploader of that one. Apologies, I can't credit, but I can credit the next clip. Or the next two clips, in fact, are going to come from the Canary, Solidarity with the Canary. The first is a testimony from MP London, Islington North, in fact, specifically MP Jeremy Corbyn. And these are his views on what went down at Westminster Magistrates.
Here this morning, we've witnessed the judgment being given against Chris and Ben, and they'll come down and tell you more about that and what plans they have to do afterwards. But I would just simply say this: I'm absolutely appalled and disgusted that they've been found guilty of doing no more than standing up for the rights of the Palestinian people and, very importantly, the right to protest within our society. So this, to me, is a dark day for justice, when people are found guilty for standing up for the Palestinian people and of the right to protest on the streets of London. But fundamentally, this is about Palestine. It is about the Palestinian people. Yesterday, the Knesset passed the law that the death penalty applies to Palestinians, doesn't apply to anybody else in certain circumstances. That is obviously an entirely racist law that's been passed, entirely oppressive law, and goes on top of the very large numbers of people held without justice, without trial, without hearing, without representation, on administrative detention in Israeli prisons, on top of the 72,000 that have already died from genocidal attacks on Gaza, and the several thousand that have died in the West Bank from settler violence, and of course now the thousands that are dying in southern Lebanon as Israel once again pursues another expansionist policy to take over southern Lebanon and the southern part of Syria, and of course pursue the wholly illegal war against Iran.
Yeah, well said, Jeremy. He's certainly been getting around a lot. And he's been getting out there. As always. As he always has, of course. So that takes us on to the other clip from the Canary. This one's from yesterday. That verdict came in this morning on Downing Street, well, just outside on Whitehall, if you want to get technical, outside of Downing Street. So there's a fence, you know, it's a big, like a fence. There was a good turnout at the protest, and that was, of course, asking Keir Starmer to do, or at least say something about that decision in the Israeli courts, the death sentences for Palestinians.
Well, we're here outside Downing Street in order to protest against the law that's just been passed by the Israeli Knesset, which not only allows but encourages the execution of Palestinian political prisoners in their custody. And that law demands that they are executed within 90 days once a guilty verdict is passed. And of course, our government is fully complicit, not just complicit, fully enables and enacts Zionism in all of its worst forms. And so we're here outside Downing Street because really our emphasis has to be to shut down the relationship between this government and a secular colonial apartheid state that continues to massacre Palestinians, now through a process of the law.
Has there been some sort of United Nations knock-on effect already, or is that about to come, or something like that?
I mean,
a vote, something.
The United Nations is basically a toothless tiger at this point, and I think we've seen in over 2 years of this genocide that actually, as a function, the only function it does serve is to enable the fact that Zionism cannot be held to account. That's why we've had a direct action movement emerge in the UK and across the world, which seeks to physically shut down the supply lines that allow Zionism to carry on the killing of the Palestinian people. That is the thing that is working right now, shutting down all the supply lines, shutting down the routes that allow for Palestinian lives to be taken.
Do you see the shutting down of supply lines as a strategy only stepping up at this stage? Because to me it looks like everything else has been closed off.
That's absolutely right. Look, I think that what they've tried to do is they try to use prescription laws to shut down Palestine action, but what we've seen is alternative movements emerging that understand that the thing to do right now, the most important thing to do, is to shut off those supply lines in order to save Palestinian life. This is a genocide. A UN commission found not only is there a genocide taking place now, but the genocide has been taking place since the 7th of October. And so you have a UN body that has clearly identified that a genocide is taking place, and yet what we have are global institutions, global governments still actively involved in the maintenance of Zionism. And that's why you need direct action. That's why we need direct action movements in order to ensure that lives can be saved.
Where are the best places for people to get information if this is new to them?
I mean, I think, look, there's lots of information on
My left eye.
online. In light of certain cases recently, it's probably not best to direct people to exact locations. But if you are interested in direct action, there's a plethora of information out there that you'll be able to find.
Yeah, you've got to be careful what you say. Really, really great interview. That really enjoyed that, and a fantastic turnout as well. I think, considering it was all pretty spontaneous. A very short time after the announcement from the Israeli court. And again, that's something that's there in the history books forever. First country to impose such a law. And they were laughing and smiling and making toasts. Probably having parties about it as well, the absolute sickos. I wonder who's going to be first to bring this up in Parliament when they go back. Maybe not in PMQs, maybe at another session, we'll see. You know, even the Tories wouldn't go that far, would they? They certainly wouldn't try and defend that sort of thing. I don't know whether they will or they won't. Watching Starmer or whomever responding to those kind of questions, that's going to be pretty interesting. Pretty interesting when they get back from the break. So shout out again to the Canary, a really good source of alternative media. So that does, once again, smoothly segue us into the next topic of the overall situation currently in the Middle East. Let's get a couple of bits on the latest. And I think as far as how well it's going for Israel, this report's coming from none other than Fox News. Okay, even Fox News. Yes, that Fox News. Willing to admit that Tel Aviv is taking one hell of a pummeling, and has been for some time, and it doesn't look like stopping. And like I said earlier, the word is online at least that some new / creative weaponry that hasn't been used before is going to be out for the first time this evening. So I'm going to play this clip first whilst I just go over to news live feed. I'll check if there's any sign of Donald Trump making an appearance. And the Artemis launch as well, of course. God, we're a bit behind. We better go quick. Let's just check this one out first, people. This is the morning chorus, whatever.
Well, we've been watching the Supreme Court. Israel is being pounded by Iran. Sirens sounding over Tel Aviv as a barrage of missiles hit the nation. Let's bring in Jonathan Hunt with more. Jonathan.
Kaylee, Israel in general and Tel Aviv in particular have been under almost constant bombardment throughout the day today. One of the most intense bombardments, in fact, since the very early days of this war. Just about an hour ago, we had an hour-long series.
It's a very typical news reporter voice there, isn't it? If it wasn't on screen, I might think it was AI. But yeah. And they're getting absolutely shafted here, I can tell you. Behind me is the most fucked city on the planet, in the world.
Series of sirens. We watched as the interceptors were launched from this.
Just a quick update. There were some delays on the launch, so we've not missed the launch. Technical issues have been resolved. I'll just quickly see how far away we are.
Area at those missiles which came in one after another from Iran. And this, remember...
Sorry, that's just a short clip of that one there. But if Fox News are willing to say it, then it just goes to show, if, you know, if anything, they'd be downplaying what's happening. Here's something else. Several CIA and Mossad agents were arrested in several areas, including Tehran, other areas of Iran as well. This is, and this has been verified as genuine. I'm just going to play this footage here of the arrests. I'll turn the volume down because this guy, for some reason, I'm not sure if he was winded or something or what's going on, but he's making some really weird noises, sort of breathing noises while he was being handcuffed there. Quite bizarre. Anyway, several dozen is the number that came along with this footage. I'm not sure who the original source is. Yeah, again, there are some subtitles there. Yeah, and I wonder what they were up to. What they were caught in the act of doing. This is must be quite a large-scale intelligence operation as well. But apparently, of course, this couldn't have happened because Iran have lost the capability to function militarily or in terms of intelligence. Because, you know, there's been a regime change. I don't know if you heard. I've been keeping up with all of this stuff and can certainly tell you that that's what's going on. Definitely. There you saw at the end of the clip as well. The operation went without any loss of life. And they're going to follow the due legal process. This wasn't, you know, the IDF. This is the only country, Iran that is, that hasn't invaded any of its neighbours, actually. The image that the United States have always tried to project of them being some sort of constant threat is in fact, of course, the opposite of the truth. The countdown is now on hold. This is just back over to Artemis, on hold at 10 minutes. So it will be T-minus 10 minutes until they get going again. There's been a technical issue, but apparently this is, it says, been resolved. And then they'll only need 10 minutes and off you go. To the moon. Alright. I'll play another clip next. Just while that's going on, and then hopefully that might time in quite nicely, might sync up pretty well. It's only another quick clip though. Just on the issue of negotiations, Trump's been quite verbose in his claim that Iran and he have been in negotiations. However, it's now been disproved yet again by Iranian spokes. So let's see what Trump said, and then let's see what the Iran representatives had to say in response to his claims.
No navy, they have no anything. And just think about this. They have no navy. They have no military. They have no nothing. They're losing. They admit they're losing. They're begging to make a deal. And if you read the fake New York Times, a corrupt newspaper, where I'm suing them and I think I should do very well, but you would almost think, who's winning?
Of course, the assault is currently ongoing, but your point is correct. We have no good experience of negotiating with the United States. In the past, we negotiated and reached an agreement, only for the United States to withdraw from it for no reason. Twice more, this year and last year, we negotiated, and the result was their assault and attack. There is no trust that negotiation with the United States can lead to results. Trust is at zero. Every time they present a proposal for negotiation, the first issue we must examine is how honest they are, and we see none. There is no trust, and to build trust, major steps must be taken. Whether the Islamic Republic decides to do so or not is another matter. But in response to any proposal, the issue is how much trust exists. At present, no trust exists.
Well, you can hardly blame them, can you? Like you said, given the precedent, even on ceasefire agreements, they never follow through, so that's the current diplomatic situation, not the one that Trump has been spelling out, of course. Andrew, nice to see you on stream. Thank you very much for 5 gifted memberships as well. That's awesome. That takes us up to 231 now. Great to see you. Yes, Andy and I had a bit of a chat the other day as well. Was very happy to help him out on a project he's putting together that I'm going to be bringing you some more information about towards the end of the week, hopefully. Yeah, really nice chat. Really nice to participate. So I'm looking forward to sharing that one with you as well. Let's just update the total. 231. Please big up Andy in the chat, please, everyone. Yeah, no spoilers though. I'll let Andrew take care of revelations for himself. Don't want to jump the gun on anything. Oh, I pity you having to edit me all day. I've actually had to do that myself in the past. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing the end product as well. And what? Wow! We appear to have a bit of a hype train going on, people. We've just got to scroll up. Sorry, Davinia. 20. Wow, that takes us... We've done it! We've done it, people. We've done it. We got to 250, 251. Oh, Davinia and Andrew, thank you both so much for helping us get over the target. We got that. We did it. Oh, yes. Oh, this is mighty. This is mighty. Let's just pause as the Artemis missions paused and celebrate. Excellent stuff. Big up Davinia and Andrew once again in the chat, please, everybody.
Jurassic Park.
Philip, I trust you have something prepared for this occasion.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yes! 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 Have you had enough, Nazi? Or do you want some more?
Oh, people, what can I say? Oh, wow. First of all, I can say what a great audience we have. What a beautiful audience we have on this channel. Thank you very much for all of your support, however long you've been watching our videos and streams. I really do appreciate the support, and that really does feel amazing to have reached that goal. Fantastic. So thank you for all of your contributions, gifted memberships, other ways of supporting the channel throughout the entire history of My Left Eye. Nice to see some gifted recipients on stream as well. Always nice to see them landing live. Nice shooting as well there, Davinia and Andrew. Jurassic Park. Okay, we may as well nip up. There's no... Well, I do say I didn't actually check. I went straight to the Artemis thing. I don't think there's any word on Trump making an appearance, but I'm not going to go live to him if he does at this point, because God knows how long he might go on for. And after watching Starmer, I think that's enough fuckwit speechery for one session. So we will go over and just try and find a suitable live stream. Not going to use the Beeb one. That tends to lag, unfortunately, whilst we're streaming in classic 480. I mean, it is a classic resolution. Bones about it. So I'll just find one on good old YouTube. It's the second biggest platform in the world, you know. Have they resumed the countdown? Okay, that means we have mere minutes. What was it, 10? So, probably not long to go. I'll just find a very quick one. We're all over this. 2 minutes. Jesus wept. Here we go. Right. It's all go, it's all happening. We'll stay with it for a little bit. Pretty tense, actually. It is quite historic. Like I said, we'll save the argument for whether it is or isn't a waste of money for another time. Global News have got it on live, so we'll go there. Might just... This isn't going to be like 4K HD again, just so you know. I have to save a bit of space. It's still there, it's still on the launch pad, we've not missed anything. I'll quickly screen grab this. Let's go. Right. Can all see that well? Do you want audio? It's up to you people. Very close now though, yes, within a minute. Oh, we did time that well, 40 seconds. Just 40 seconds to go. Here we are, here we go. Shall I put the audio on? Go on, I'll put the audio on. Hold on to your butts, people. I should be able to hear this in a second.
Ever launched.
Can you hear that?
Sound suppression water is flowing. And here we go. 10.
There you go. 10 seconds.
9, 8, 7. RS 25 engines.
They're off. Okay.
2, 1.
It's blast off. Ignition. Lift off. That was quick.
The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Come on, cameraman. Keep up with... There we go. It's going off like a rocket, isn't it? No. Wow. Let's stay with it. God, the chat, you can't see it, but the chat on the live stream there is going mad. I'm gonna shut it actually.
Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour.
1,200 miles an hour. Come on, don't buffer. There we go. It's doing 1,200 miles an hour already. What's this? Off. It's our cutaway shot. Still going.
Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max gear.
That's T+1, everybody.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on proximity on. Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis 2 mission.
Yeah, going faster than the
14 miles an hour.
Speed of sound, of course.
Traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
2,600 miles an hour now. Wow, look at it. The heat coming off of that thing must be phenomenal. And that is the air friction.
1 minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation expected at the 2 minute 9 second mark.
Okay, we're getting close to another tense moment, the separation of the solid rocket boosters.
Confirmed separation. Main engines throttling up, guidance converged.
There they go. Looks like they've separated successfully.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
Yeah, they just confirmed that. That's good.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis 2 mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state ahead of service module fairing separation. 3 minutes into the flight. Integrity 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange. Now passing 5,000 miles per hour.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it beautiful? Look at that. It's already 50 miles up. Wow.
Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
Houston Integrity, good last jettison, great view.
Sounds all good coming from the crew.
8+02. We see you sail on board, Stan.
And Houston has you loud and clear on TV at the common line.
I want to see that shot from the rocket again. That was absolutely beautiful. With the curvature of the Earth.
3 minutes 50
That is
seconds.
the curvature. Flat Earthers. That's another fail for the Flat Earthers.
Across the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison. Now working on internal checks to verify accuracy.
Looks all good. You notice how it goes very well when Elon Musk isn't allowed anywhere near the bastard. Yeah, if this was SpaceX, it would have all been over after 40 seconds. So, just over 4.5 minutes into mission time. There it is. As we see, coming up to the 5-minute mark.
GPS processing.
And the clear white light from the sun against our beautiful planet there, isn't it? Isn't it amazing, isn't it? Just so serene. How serene must it be up there?
Approaching 5 minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination. GPS guidance, navigation, and control software finishes internal checks and sends to navigation channels.
That all sounds all good as well.
Integrity, 3 engine press.
3 engine press.
On time, now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis 2 mission. At this point, 3 good main engines are all that's needed to carry Integrity to a nominal main engine cutoff target. Though at this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston. Integrity, 75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
Wow, 10,000 miles an hour, 300 miles above the surface of planet Earth in just 5 minutes. Take that, Elon.
Integrity, looking good at 6 minutes.
Yeah, of course, I've nothing against setting up scientific bases on the moon, of course. I'm just dead against the concept of ever having humanity move from one planet to the other. It's just ludicrous.
Expected at the 7-minute mark.
The notion of it. We should be taking more care of this planet.
Miles in altitude, 460 miles downrange.
But you have to stand in awe of the science, the technology, the engineering that goes into all of this. Absolutely incredible.
6 minutes 40 seconds of mission elapsed time. Shutdown plan is as expected. Again, the time of MECO was confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds into the flight.
I bet the flat earthers are going crazy already and splicing up this footage and, oh well, this is where it cuts to the AI.
7 minutes of mission elapsed.
You can see the distortion there on the that's not real. That's NASA have been conning the world. No, of course I'm not a flat earther.
At the 7-minute mark. Now 84 miles in altitude, 650 miles downrange, traveling more than 15,000
miles an hour now.
Integrity, AOA open.
AOA open.
The window is now open for an abort once around option that would target splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Still following nominal ascent at this time.
But the more precarious moments of the launch are certainly behind them, and in very short time as well.
until the main engine cutoff of the
So
Space Launch
it
System
does
core
look
stage.
good so far. That's
Standing by for confirmation of MECO
a good
and
omen
core
for the
stage
rest of the
separation.
mission. The most historical problems either happen during the launch or re-entry, of course.
Integrity, nominal MECO, core stage separated. We see the same on board.
Sorry, I couldn't make that out on the audio. Not sure what they were jettisoning there, but they've just done that whilst they've got the opportunity.
8 minutes 40 seconds into the flight, we have a nominal main engine cutoff heading in the right trajectory on the way to swing around the moon. Core stage has separated, done its job. The Space Launch System upper stage, the inner rim cryogenic propulsion stage, or ICPS, still attached to the Orion spacecraft.
It's a long way of saying they're steering it, but
9
yeah.
minutes of mission elapsed time. Integrity crew of Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen now in orbit around the Earth at the beginning of their journey to the moon.
18,500 kilometers per hour now. And look at the distance. Look at the distance. 242,000 miles. It's not even 10 minutes ago. It was sat still on the planet. 129 miles above the surface. So
now reminding the crew that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition
242,600
to booster ignition
to go.
That time being 49 minutes 50 seconds of mission elapsed time.
So if this was, that'd be, you could get from Manchester to, well, beyond the Midlands heading south. Let's say if you were, yeah, South Midlands, Northamptonshire, that sort of area. Or around maybe, yeah, Oxford, like within 10 minutes. Wow.
Integrity, good. Nets deploy.
Smoking is not permitted on this flight, no. Oh, go for it, yeah. Experiment 1A. Oh no. Didn't end well. Space Cowboy, this should be just your bag. This is your remit. And I do agree, yeah, there will not be off-planet mining within our lifetimes. I'll just turn some of the audio down there. Just talk over the chatter. But yeah, I don't think it's worth trying to explore other planets for the... sorry, just sorting out the levels here. Yeah, I don't think it's worth exploring the idea of whether other planets are habitable for humans or not, because they aren't. They really aren't. There never will be. I could go on forever. Certainly not within our lifetimes. We certainly won't be mining planet's ore and bringing it back to Earth. And it does happen in sci-fi, you know. That's all fine, you know. You can suspend disbelief for a moment. Just going back to the mission.
It's targeted near 50 minutes of mission elapsed time, 49 minutes 50 seconds. That's what the crew is going to be working towards. The Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover will focus on preparing for that milestone. In the meantime, mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen will start some of the activation of environmental control life support systems. You may hear confirmation of their activation over the Orion to Earth communication network.
Okay. fire it up. Maybe they are vaping. You might be right there, Doc. Maybe Elon Musk might just do a flyby on one of his rockets and surprise! Ruins it. Ruins the whole mission. No, of course, I'm joking, of course, because none of his stuff hardly ever gets off of the ground, does it?
13 minutes and 30 seconds of mission elapsed time. We're going to continue to follow the crew of the Artemis 2 mission. They are beginning their journey around the moon to verify the systems that will take us to its surface. An incredible ascent. Artemis 2 is underway. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen begin their journey to the moon. Still milestones to come up as we await solar array deploy and the critical burns that will get integrity into high Earth.
Okay, people, I'm not going to stick with this throughout the rest of the live stream, but if no other socialist live streamers are on live when we come to the raid, I'll raid you into this if you want to carry on watching the stream. But very pleased to report that for now it looks a-okay, so good stuff from Artemis 2. That was very impressive, you do have to say. I do always like those visuals where the craft is coming out of the atmosphere and into orbit. So Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein currently in the driving seats, as it were. If anyone in chat's been to the moon, let us know. But for the moment, let's see what the latest opinion is in the polls. Most of you firmly believing that the first event of the 4 that will happen will be the US withdrawing from Iran. Shock horror. Similar lack of shock to the fact that so far none of you have voted for the Iran surrendering to the United States option. 10% both for Artemis returning safely and Artemis disaster. Kind of tongue-in-cheek selections. Not trying to be deliberately morbid or foreboding. Right, I think I've hedged my bets there. But I do agree with you. In fact, if Trump does make this speech, I dare say that the US withdrawal from Iran might come up within it. Not just a milestone with the launch of Artemis 2, of course, on tonight's stream, reaching that landmark milestone of 250 members, 251 in total. Thanks again for all your contributions on stream. Of course, it will be our absolute pleasure to update the list, and now we're at 250. There might be a bit of a twist on it now as well. You'll have to wait and see on the next stream, people. A few final plugs though. Of course, please give us some hype points if you're checking out our content on mobile devices. Please do consider using Super Chat, Super Stickers if you're watching live, or Super Thanks if you're watching back later on. Check out the Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of any content on the channel if you're unable to contribute via YouTube. So, final few moments to vote on the poll if you've not done so already. I can't really see it swinging far enough to conclusively decide that it's going to be the US withdrawal from Iran is the winning option. So I'll give a preemptive congratulations before I close the poll at the end of the stream. Thank you very much for all of your votes. So who's around? See if there are any other fellow proper YouTubers, proper socialist YouTubers. Failing that, I'll put you back into the Artemis 2 mission. So get prepared for a raid, as in, literally don't go anywhere. It requires the least amount of preparation that there is. I'm hoping there'll be time for another Brews at 10 before the week's out. But there will, of course, be the Sunday live stream. Time to be confirmed. It's always a bit flexible on the Sunday stream times. Usually sometime between 7 and 8 PM. But, of course, the Brews at 10. Always at the same time. Sorry, it's just been a little slow in finding who else is live streaming. Because we've got really top tech. They're slowly making progress. Right. Okay, you sort that out. We'll keep it as a surprise, I guess. There will be a raid. You'll have to stick around to find out where. That's a further incentive. But all that remains for me to say is thanks for joining us once again. Thanks for your presence as well as being cordial in the chat. Power to the people, free Palestine, Sudan, Lebanon, and Iran. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Don't watch the news, be the news, and my left eye. I'll be seeing you soon. Good night.
The door is open and you can leave.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn mind.